So welcome again to another edition of the Influencer Marketing Roundtable, first of the year. So looking forward to having a discussion with everybody afterwards. But for those of you that don't know who I am, I just thought I'd give you a little bit of a short précis because I'm a busybody. So I'm the host of the Influence Global podcast. And if you haven't had the chance to listen to it, then please do. We're now on our, I think, 56th or 57th episode. We've interviewed some amazing people from all around the world, either influencers, agencies, influencer platforms, and brands themselves. Lots of tips and ideas and case studies. So some really good things to listen to there. I'm also the author of Influencer Marketing Strategy, which was published in March last year. And it's available on Amazon and all leading bookstores. 88,000 words, I know, because it felt like it when I was writing it. But again, loads and loads of tips and advice for you there to about helping build an influencer strategy, either for yourself or indeed for your company. I'm also a keynote speaker and panelist on all things influencer marketing and membership related. I've recently become a columnist for the Evening Standard, which I'm really excited about, actually. So if you do have a look online and you want to see any of my articles, then they're up there. So that's pretty exciting, and it's a great way to promote the value of what influencer marketing is all about. I'm also the founder of the Branded Content Marketing Association Influence Division, founder of Membership World, and also co-founder of the Meetings and Event Support Association. So yeah, busy person. But one of the things that I do spend quite a lot of my time with is helping individuals with their own influence. And the reason I feel passionate about this is because I used to be the Director General of the British Promotional Merchandise Association for 11 years. I was really known as that sort of Mr. Merchandise individual. And then I moved out of that and started in a brand new industry where I knew nobody, and I mean nobody. So the reason why I created this influencer marketing program, which is ideally for thought leaders, any of you that are on this call really, is because if I can do it, anybody can. And it really is about starting with sort of no presence to being a significant advocate in your industry. Because at the end of the day, what do we really want as thought leaders? We want more revenue. We want to be able to charge higher prices. We want more customers coming to us. And we want our content consumed by a wider audience. And so what I do with my clients is I run a Zoom session, which is 1.5 hours every 2 weeks. I've got I launched it back end of last year. And I've got a number of clients at the moment. I have such a great relationship with them. They've almost become friends. I'm so deeply entrenched with what they're trying to do. And I think that's really, really important. So it's sort of one-to-one support more than anything else. I'm also, the way I work with people is I'm your friendliest critic. And when I say that is sometimes when you're working with people, they don't tell you what you need to know. But when you're working with somebody that really understands you, it's got your best interests at heart, but really wants you to push yourself, I think it's important. So you've probably read down those 5 steps quickly as I can go through them. But the reason I say that is that it's important that I go through a process. Is all about understanding where you are. In fact, there is one task that you could do fairly immediately if you wanted to just have a go with something, and that's to get out an Excel spreadsheet and have a look at 10 exemplars or competitors that you see as similar to yourself. And when I say that, I mean those that have got a similar target audience to you. Let's just say LinkedIn is your most suitable platform. Have a look at the last 10 posts that they have put up and have a look at the level of engagement. When I say engagement, I mean the comments, the shares, the likes that those individuals have got, all on one Excel spreadsheet. And what you'll find is you'll get some huge insights that come out of that. And that's really important because it will start to, what you really want in terms of your content plan is a blueprint for success. And you need to know what other audiences are reacting to. Is it video? Is it stat posts? Is it polls? Is it provocative comments? Is it because it's entertaining? Whatever it is, you need to find out what that magic blueprint is and then put that into your own program. So one of the things I do, for example, in my Instagram is I have a set content plan. So every single day there is something that's themed. So we have like Testimonial Tuesdays, for example. But that might be something you want to consider. Anyway, the next part of that is alignment. And this is what I help my clients do, is make sure that you are, what people say about you is when you're not in the room. So for example, something you might like to consider, and we'll talk about this after I come off the presentation, is think about a strap line for your business that's no more than 3 words. Yeah, no more than 3 words. So if I was going to describe you to somebody else, I can't remember everything that you're all about. Yeah. So think about 3 words that somebody could remember and effectively promote you. And you'll probably start to see even Instagram accounts or you know, it's like the property guru or something like that. You know what I mean? It's something very simple. Have a think about that. And what I talk about when we talk about alignment is that message is concurrent right the way across all of your social media platforms. It's also on all your email signatures. It's on your business cards. It's on your branded t-shirt everywhere. Yeah. Anyway, the next part of that is I create an influencer strategy, which is all about making sure that everything has a purpose. And remember that everything in influence has a purpose. Why do we do things? It's not about a scattergun approach, it's about doing a few things really well. And one of those things is to have a weekly moment. Now, you are on my weekly moment, which happens to be my Wednesday morning Facebook group. And we have anywhere between 5, 6, up to 20 people. And that is a perfect number, actually, because you can try and build meaningful relationships. Now, the really important thing about this weekly moment is it is consistent and it is regular. So there's loads of people that don't attend my weekly moments, of course. I mean, I've got hundreds and hundreds of people in my Facebook group and on my LinkedIn community. But in a way, it doesn't matter because they know, they can see, oh, I missed this one, you know. They know I'm subtly branding those people with, you know, I'm the influencer guy. I hope that makes sense for you. It doesn't have to be a roundtable event. It could be a newsletter upload. It could be a Facebook Live. It could be all sorts of things, but it needs to be consistent at the same time every week. The 4th step is about refer. And that really is about connecting people with the right audiences. And I talk about who is in your circle of influence. Who are the people that literally would be actively promoting you on your behalf? Yeah. I have this belief that in our lives, we are going to meet 5 people that will have a transformational effect on our lives in some shape or form. Now, I don't know who those people are for all of you. Some of them you may well have already had. In fact, you probably will have had. It could have been a teacher that actually got you excited. It could be somebody that had inspired you. But remember, those people that have transformed you, you should stay connected with those individuals, because if they've done it once, they'll do it again for you. So you will never be a huge success singly on your own. Fact. You know, it is all about having good people surrounding you. And the 5th step in my process is all about evaluation, making sure that you literally do check and balance what you do. There's a great book actually called How to Get 1 Million Followers in 1 Month. I should have remembered the author actually, but it's a really good book, very inspirational. And it's a big influencer marketing guy in America, actually. But he helped some of the big Hollywood names really drive their brand hugely forward in a very short period of time. And I think it was one of the big artists, music artists, was saying that what made the difference is you know, these walkabouts that you sometimes have at premieres. what they did is they spent time with the fans. They took pictures with them because they knew actually that not only was that good for their own personal brand, but actually all of those images were being multiply shared on social media. Really think about that. So here's a few extra sort of ideas that I'd like us to talk about afterwards here. To be honest, think about trying an influencer campaign, and whether or not that is on your own or whether or not that is working with other influencers. All I was just going to say to you is try it out. And if you don't know and you don't know how to go about this, then obviously we've run lots of sessions through these workshops in the morning. I can put some more follow up with you afterwards, but you know, it's all well learning about stuff, but put something into place this year. The second thing is have a think about a challenge or a competition. And if you look at some of the social media, like the TikToks, like Instagram and even Facebook, even petition related. I mean, I didn't put that on there, but it's incredible the amount of engagement you can get from a cause or something that you feel passionate about. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to gather momentum here. We're trying to get people to talk about you. And just as I mentioned petition there, funny enough, the great thing about a petition is that your lots of people are responding and reacting to something that is very topical at the moment. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the Three Dads Walking, which was actually really touched my heart actually over just before Christmas, when sadly three fathers had lost their daughters through suicide. Now, this wasn't a competition or a challenge, but it was something that really galvanized the nation, because what they did is they decided to set about a walk around the three dads' homes, and it obviously captured the media attention and then became a huge fundraiser in excess of £1 million, when I think originally they were expected to raise 30,000. Look at Captain Tom as another example of somebody that was hugely influential just by making a difference. I don't know if any of you are on TikTok. It's one of my objectives for 2020-22 to really embrace TikTok. The reason I say that, and it doesn't mean you don't need to be necessarily fooling around. I think sometimes when you see these videos, it can be thinking, oh, it's just for young people. Not so, actually. It's grown its audience base quite hugely in the last year or so. The reason I say it is because it has one of the highest engagements in social media at the moment. So it's definitely worth having a go. And if you're not sure how to do it, I have had TikTok experts on here before, and I will have again. So certainly keep engaged, and so we can go through it in a lot more detail. But my suggestion to you is just give it a go. And before you do that, do some research. Actually, start to have a look at, you know, the people that are wanting to get similar message out. Have a look at what they're trying to do. I noticed that there was a big American lawyer on there that really made let's be honest, when you come to the law, it can be quite boring and dull, can't it? But he actually made it exciting and interesting, and I know picked up a whole new set of clients as a result of his engagement, informative videos. So I think, you know, what I'm saying here is when you're considering content, it always has to fit into one of these three things. It has to be either educational, inspirational, education, or entertaining. Yeah, it's got to be one of those three things: inspirational, educational, or entertaining. You might like to set up a small engagement pod so you can support each other. For example, when you're doing a LinkedIn post, sometimes you might feel as though, oh dear, you know, I've got to put this post out and I've hardly got any views or responses to it. One of the things that you can do is set up a WhatsApp group. Now, I'm not a great fan of big engagement tools, or in pods rather, or tools that actually help manipulate that. a small group of maybe half a dozen or maybe even 10 people that, you know, really do support you can make a big difference. And the way I say that is because the first hour of a post going live is the crucial hour. Because the way the algorithms work is that if your post is being seen and being commented on within that first hour, so the algorithm is pushing that content out to a wider audience. And that, of course, is how viral campaigns happen, is when that moves very, very quickly. When somebody sees a post, they act on it quickly, they comment. And what's important is your responses. You should be on that all of the time, making sure that you like and that you comment back with at least 5 words or more. Try and be a guest on a podcast that's relevant to your niche. So there are millions of podcasts now all around the world. You know, I host 2 podcasts, actually. I didn't mention the other one, which is Membership World. But my main one is the Influence Global podcast. So have a look at others that you could have a look at. And there's also a great Facebook group called Podcast Nation, when there are loads and loads of people that are either interested or already podcasters currently. So there's some great tips there. Matchmade.fm is a site you might like to have a look at, where it's got loads and loads of podcasts that you might like to attend as a guest. But really think about, you know, a lot of these bigger podcasts get loads of people wanting to be on their show. I do as well, I might add. I have to never, ever forget that it's my audience that I'm delivering for. So that's really important that you don't forget that, and you don't just want to take anybody just because they've approached you. Think always about that. What's their story? And then, as we've talked about a little bit before, outsource to an overseas, or indeed just anybody really that is somebody that could take care of some of your social media. I happen to do that, and it's not because I can't do it. It's because actually it's just very time consuming. And if you want to make a difference, you need to be absolutely consistent. And I mean, for example, on Instagram, you've really got to be doing daily posting. I would suggest stuff like Reels. Reels has been a huge success for me. I mean, just to give you some indication, and I'm no 23-year-old beauty queen, I launched my Instagram account, which is a new one, in September this year with no followers whatsoever. And I've already got 1,500 in the last few months. And that just shows you what can be done with consistent posting. Do have a look at my Instagram and you'll see the type of content. It's Gordon.Glenister on Instagram. Okay, right, sorry. So that's the end of our session on there. I'm just going to come off. And I thought we'd just sort of open it up to some questions now. And I posed a few. So thoughts, ideas, questions?
I'm pretty good. I mean, I'm consistent on Instagram because I schedule it a month in advance. So something goes on and it goes on at 11:11 because I'm a great believer in the universe. And, you know, so 11:11 every day. And my post goes on Instagram.
Perfect.
Reels, I've had, like this week, my reel got 116 views. The one I did 2 weeks ago had 8,000.
Wow.
You know, it's but it's not something I'm comfortable doing. Because I'm not this sort of, you know, everybody's saying, oh, you know, follow people doing the same sort of thing. But in our industry, people tend to be doing the sort of, you know, jumping around and pointing at things, and not me really.
No, and Sandy, that's a really important question, because it has to be authentic. It has to be you. I also think that people like pictures, they like videos of you. You know, it's one of the things I would suggest as well is don't just share. So for example, Instagram has just released before Christmas its new trends reports. Now that is something that I would lift from Instagram and use that. But what I wouldn't do is just take their own report. I would repurpose that content so that I'm seen as that thought that I'm bringing the latest trends to you. So your role within your niche should be somebody that is curating, and that you're making it easy for people to consume everything. I'm not talking about gardens. I'm not talking about boats. I'm not talking about anything that doesn't relate to influencer marketing. And this is the thing that I say to you guys all the time. And if you're doing it, fantastic. But literally don't go off spec. You know, if you want your own personal account, that's absolutely fine. Have that. But when it comes to your business account, which by the way, you should all have on Instagram, a business account, which means that you can see the analytics behind that. And forgive me if you already have, but it's really important you keep an eye on that and know where your followers are coming from. And also making sure that you're using the right hashtags. The hashtags, we use Flick actually, which is a hashtag generator tool. If you've not really used that before, have a look at that. And what that will do is it will really help you understand. I mean, there are loads of others, to be fair. What that will do is it'll help you give an idea of what are the sort of trending hashtags within your specific keywords. So it will, what's the difference between influencer and influencers? What's the difference between pets and pets? It could be huge just by one word, just one letter rather. See what I mean?
Yeah. It's network marketer and network marketing, totally different, like
Absolutely.
millions and millions of difference in views. I mean, it's just like, but I save all my hashtags on my keyboard replacement shortcut tool on my all my devices. So
okay,
literally I hashtag on one letter or hashtag on two letters, and it just types, it just types it out for me as I go, so I can make it relevant to what I'm doing.
That's great, Sandy. Another thing you might like to do is to do stuff like hashtag Monday motivation, throwback Thursdays. So you can actually
don't use any more than 15 hashtags in any one post.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah, just keep it. If you can keep it, I try my best to keep it from maybe 1 to 12, but don't exceed 15.
No.
Well, that's interesting because I was told not to exceed 30, and I tend to go for about 27.
I got too many. Trust me, Anna. I've sat on. I've done webinars with the digital marketing agency, the digital marketing loads of different digital marketing not podcasts, sorry, webinars. And trust me on it, 0 to 15 is what you want to zoom in on.
And
I'll try that.
If you look at some of the big content, I mean, I must admit some of mine have been higher than that, James. But I will go back and just check with.
There'll be no harm before next. I'll get some. I have some notes taken and that. I'll dig them up for next Wednesday's meeting. Be no harm for you to go back and have a look as well, and you'll see.
Well, I will actually, because I know in the when we started with Gem, I think we got a bit of a wrapping for what we call hashtag stuffing. So it's important that we don't do that actually. So I would absolutely concur with what you said there, James.
Yeah, I'll dig up my notes. It'll take me too long to do it now, but I'll dig up my notes. I did do a webinar with an American-based girl that does a lot of stuff, and some of our webinars are very good. I'll pull out the notes, and I'll have them for next Wednesday's meeting.
Fabulous.
Right.
I have a guest. I have a podcast coming in January on the 3rd week. And
as a guest,
Australian.
As a guest or a host?
As a guest.
Yeah.
And it's a video. And the topic is on my first pet, which is Bobby, and how he pivoted my career later on in life. Yeah. And Gordon, I wish to ask, after the guest podcast, what do you do with it?
So I would be promoting that literally on all of your channels. And I'm assuming that as you are the guest, he would be promoting it on his network.
I see.
And one of the reasons why I have podcasts with guests on is because it gets the amplification by association. So you've got two people effectively promoting that podcast for you. I also take a video. I do it on Zoom, actually, to be honest. And again, that gives me a Zoom output. I would be using, remember, by the way, when you're posting any content, remember to make sure that you're posting at when your audience is most likely to be online. So for example, if I get up at 6 a.m. in the morning and I say, oh, I see something I want to react to, I could actually share that at 6 o'clock in the morning. But guess what, guys? Nobody's going to be looking at that. So if nobody's looking and responding to that, I might as well be just not even posting. That's how serious it is. Instagram early evening is probably the best time to do that. There's lots of different stats around when people are looking, but what matters is your audience. LinkedIn, for example, is between 7:30 and 9:30 in the morning, is because it's more business focused. So people tend to have a look at their LinkedIn first thing in the morning, and end of the day, sort of 5 or 6-ish. So if you're posting in the middle of the day on LinkedIn, you might not get much traction. Twitter is different because of its news related. It's fairly constant all of the time, really, but there are peaks and troughs. Sometimes people have tried posting at the weekend because although there's less audience, there's less competition, because that's the other thing, guys, you need to be aware of, is if you're posting when there's a lot of noise going on, you know, you're not going to be in front of the queue.
You've got to really stand out, haven't you?
You've really got to stand out.
Posting at the busy times.
You really have got to. I mean, my message, if you remember right at the beginning of this, when I showed you that my program and how I do it, was really understanding what's working for your niche. That is so critical. It really is, because if you don't do that, you could continue to be making mistakes all of the time and wasting your time, quite frankly. So it's you know, it's called test and measure, test and measure, test and measure, test and measure, you know, all of the time.
Gordon, can I ask you another thing? I have about 4,000 fans on my Facebook. How do I make them customers? Most of them are interested people who love my work.
So, well, when you say make them customers, I mean, you could reach out to them and on Messenger and just try and build up. I mean, at the end of the day, what we're trying to do with anybody on social media is we're trying to build up a relationship with people, aren't we?
You're trying to grab their attention as well.
You're trying to grab their attention. Yeah, we're trying to, and we're trying to do that through honest engagement, which is
it seems that Facebook now has a different algorithm, and when you post it, they don't go to many people. Is that true?
That's true. Yeah, I mean,
you have to work it. You mustn't be if you 4,000 followers on your Facebook page, okay, and you're not getting too many customers out of your 4,000 followers.
No.
Obviously, well, then you're doing something wrong. So you have to change you have to change what you're doing. Are you posting on a daily basis to your Facebook group?
Oh yeah, I post a few times a day.
Yeah.
What time are you posting? That's also the thing, because
it could be the content.
They need to engage. Yeah.
Could be your small problem. Maybe it's the content that you're posting. So maybe change the content. Are you using video?
I do that too.
Yeah.
My fans are very niche. They are all pet lovers.
Okay.
Yeah. You could do a live sales event. You could do a live sales event and invite,
very good.
You know, everybody you know, and literally, you know, tell people about, you know, show them and tell them about it and tell them how much it is, and you know, and just kind of do, you know, bring a glass of wine and, you know, let's sit round and, you know, and people relate
bring your
to people.
Pets. Maybe Sandy, bring your pet event so that
well, just let my that's it. I've got 4 cats, so yeah. But yeah, you know,
it could be carnage. It could be absolute carnage, but it could be I mean, look at the way that we relate. I mean, no, it's not a pet, but you know, when Chandra's little girl came in, you know, it's a nice positive reaction, isn't it? And what we want to do is to try and create an environment where people feel at ease, they can enjoy the experience. I mean, when it comes to art, for example, think about what the artist shops do. They bring in an artist and they bring in their customers with a glass of prosecco or something. They get to meet the artist.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's you get to meet Priscilla, you get to meet the artist, ask her questions. How do you go about, perhaps what you could do, Priscilla, is show people how you, so one time they're almost, you're showing people about how you go about, so you've done half of the dog. You know what, when you walk past in London, I know you're not in London, but you see,
I wish I were.
you see people that are artists, and you see the individual in front of them. How many people do you think stop and say, God, that's such a good likeness? It's quite captivating, isn't it? So the reason I say that is it's about learning and understanding how people are reacting to content. That is my message really here.
The other thing you could look at is NFTs. The whole metaverse thing, NFTs, the whole metaverse thing, and digital art. I mean, there's an NFT. There's a digital picture went
that's
for
the latest.
69 million last week, and they're very, you know. I mean, I'm on a Discord channel. I don't know if anybody else uses Discord. I was on the you know, the chat thing, but the other thing, which I'm not so keen on, Clubhouse, but I'm on Discord now, and it's really, really, you know, it's really interesting to see, you know, especially for me who grew up in a time when there wasn't even electric typewriters, to see this whole metaverse thing sort of exploding, and you know, this digital art. And funny enough, I was given an NFT for Christmas, and it's just a digital picture, and you know, they've all, apparently it's very, very easy to get them, like, you know, verified and get them, you know, so that you can sell them.
They get a verification number.
So but apparently that's very, very cheap to do. That's very cheap to do. But I mean, I think, you know, I remember in 1994 buying a computer and not wanting a modem, and saying to the guy in the shop, why would I want a modem? And he said, because the internet's going to be the next big thing. And I was like, really? Oh, I can see people wanting it in the office, but not at home. And I think, you know, with the whole metaverse thing and the NFT thing, I just feel that I'm not going to make that same mistake again, because obviously, you know, if I'd got in at the, you know, beginning of Bitcoin or the beginning of the internet, you know, life would have been incredibly different. But yeah, definitely worth looking at.
Yeah, thank you, Sam.
In Hong Kong, we are very aware of the latest things happening in the art world, in the technical world. But I am aiming on to handcrafted things. So the EFT doesn't work with me, at least not for right now. I know it's working for some people, and it's getting very, very quickly out there. Yeah.
And maybe you should consider your hashtag strategy as well.
That's yes. I do a lot of research on SEO also. Yeah.
Good. No, that's really helpful. Thank you guys for contributing there.
Yeah, thank you so much.
John, I know you wanted to ask something, didn't you?
Gordon, one of the things I noticed with you, when you do these recordings of the roundtable events, you post a video to YouTube.
I do, yes.
As opposed to posting it directly to Facebook. Is there a reason for that?
No, it's only because obviously what I'm trying to do is to build up I mean, my YouTube is not very great, to be honest, and it's something I'm wanting to grow and develop. So yeah, I just want to make sure that I'm visible everywhere. You know, whether it's on Twitter, it's LinkedIn, and you know, my primary source, if I'm honest, is LinkedIn and Instagram. That is. And Facebook, but you know, there's only so much that you can do. And there is an argument that says, and I've heard this I've actually been talking to one of my clients about this, who we've renamed the manufacturer's recruiter, actually, and it's been a huge success. But he's absolutely focused entirely on LinkedIn. He will not touch any other channel. You know, he doesn't want to do Instagram, doesn't want to do Facebook.
Yeah, some people are like that. Yeah.
No, but actually, I'm complete. I mean, his last post, which he did on just before Christmas, of which, by the way, he's also using an engagement pod on WhatsApp. So he will send me his posts on his WhatsApp group, and of course, it just triggers me because I might not be looking at LinkedIn. I might be doing something else because it comes in as an immediate alert. and obviously he's a client of mine, I'll go and comment. And because I'm commenting, you know, I have nearly 15,000 followers on LinkedIn. So in a way, you know, his weight of his
He's using, but yeah, I understand what he's doing. Yeah,
he's got nearly 100 comments on this post, and all he's why I particularly like it. You can have a look at him. Actually, it's called Jeff Beecham.
I must link into you, Gordon.
Jeff Beecham, yeah. But but the reason why I want to mention it is because he has done exactly what I've asked him to do, really, really well, and he's getting the results. So
what's his surname, Gordon?
Jeff, Jeff Beecham, Beacham. Yeah, Jeff Beecham. But you know, bearing in mind, you think about recruitment and how, you know, it's intense. People are just constantly cold calling and trying to get stuff like that. It's not something that he wanted to be. So his strategy is about helping. I said to him at the moment, what sector have you got quite a lot of success in? So he said, well, actually the manufacturing sector. So I said, well, let's make you the manufacturer's recruiter. So now everything that we do, his tagline is the manufacturer's recruiter. Everything he does, I didn't mention it, by the way, on LinkedIn, you can personalize your URL. If you've not already done that, guys, please do that. Because what that means is that when you comment on other people's posts, it will come up with exactly what you do. So if you go and have a look at my name, it's not just Gordon Glenister, it's just Gordon Glenister Influencer Marketing and Membership, which means every time I'm posting, people are seeing name all of the time. And what he's doing with this profile is he's being as a real, and he's been featured literally in the last, just before Christmas, as the top 10 people to watch in manufacturing in the last year. I mean, how amazing is that from somebody that's a recruiter, not a manufacturer?
Just a twist in the tagline.
And why I like it is his post just before Christmas with nothing about recruitment. But what it was about a hobby or an interest. He happens to also like the guitar and music. Basically, his image was of him playing guitar. What he's doing cleverly, though, is he's creating a personality around his brand. Yeah. So I know another guy, a friend of mine, Warren Knight, who I admire immensely as a digital marketing strategist. I've known him for years. He is also a beekeeper, and every time he brings into his speeches, he also always talks about bees. In fact, he's done one speech once, which is all about digital marketing and bees. He's managed to create this whole story around the life of how bees communicate with each other. But you know, I will never forget Warren and bees. And I mean, obviously, I know Warren aside from that. But the point I'm saying to you is, it's a way that people remember you. It's finding little things and taglines that people can remember you for. So I hope today's been a bit useful. I'm going to have to disappear a little bit because I've got a 9:30 call today. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been actually quite fun, actually, hasn't it, today? Some of the small groups are often the best. But we do these every Wednesday. I'm moving them to 8:30 to 9:30 now.
That's great, because I have a 9:30 call every single morning, 365 days a year. So,
do you? I think, as James was saying, just as we came in, it's going to be probably a better move for a lot of people.
It is,
It's good for me.
If you need it, if you've got any questions or you want to reach out to me, you've got my contact details, or you need any help. If you so there you go. And I just want to make sure you have a lovely day.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Gordon. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye, everyone.